Hello, Black America.
All of the Hebrews just saw all of this stuff happen. They get to the daggone wilderness, and what the heck are they doing?
Complaining. You know a point that gets missed a lot of times? They cross the Red Sea. God parts the waters. They walk through on dry land. Their feet wasn't getting muddy. They wasn't pulling the carts through the mud and slopping it through there. They walked through on dry land. Walk to the other side.
Never looked at it like that.
Your feet would get wet.
It's gonna be sloppy. It's gonna be sloppy.
They got sandals on. These ain't Cole Haans. These are sandals. They got. You think they had mud between their No. They walked across on dry
That's a good
land.
point.
And then they got to the other side and watched the Lord destroy their enemy before their eyes. And I know you made this point on another episode. And now they complaining? You just watched the wonders of God.
Uh-huh.
You just saw it happen before your very eyes. And
Not
now,
to mention the 7 plagues.
we didn't even get into the fact that he feeding you out there in the wilderness.
Right. Raining down manna from heaven.
He got a big pillar of fire in front of you, leading you
at night.
You're not walking
Cloud
in the
in the
dark.
daytime.
Exactly. So God is giving you all these signs and wonders, and we still complaining about it.
Uh-huh.
That's an amazing.
Now that's going to happen again.
Of course.
Now that's going to happen
course it
again.
is.
Now, and again, we have every reason to complain now because you don't see this. But
Right.
it says in Ezekiel that when I bring you again to this place, I will purge out the rebels.
Say more about that. We only got a few more minutes.
I will purge out the rebels. It's going to be rebels when God delivers us this time. So, they're in the wilderness complaining. And now let's from the get. Now here's a very important thing Moses said. Very important thing. These Egyptians that you see, this land of Egypt that you see, let's do it very, very specifically. You shall see no more. You shall see no more. And that verse is, and we're gonna put all these verses up.
Amen.
That verse is Exodus, but Moses told the people, this is Exodus 14:13. Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still. Jokers chasing us, Moses, they chasing us. Stand still. Look, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians who you have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. Wow. Now, he drowns them. And we're going to get to that. We're going to see how that relates to, because the scripture says you're going back to Egypt. A couple moments later in the book of Deuteronomy, Moses had already dealt with years of complaining. And, he made the golden calf. Moses up getting the 10 Commandments. I want you to see that the Israelites were not good people as a whole. I want you to see this. And if you read the story, you'll understand there's a few righteous people.
Right.
Always. Few righteous people. But the nation as a whole,
stiff-necked people.
Stiff-necked people. God calls them over and over again. He was ready. It's to the point where Moses was trying to, he's petitioning for them. He's trying to mediate for them. And it was something they said to him. God said, look, step back. I'm going to burn them all up. And then I'm going to start a nation out of you. God said, look, I'm done. I'll start fresh with you, Moses. Moses like, yo, listen, please, plead inform. This has been their MO. So now, Moses died because he was supposed to, he didn't do something in a way that God wanted him to do it. It was a little bit of a lack of faith. He said, you're not going into the land. You're going to die up here. I'm going to show you this land, take you to the mountaintop. You'll see the promised land, but you're not going into the promised land. Joshua and Caleb are going to lead the people into the promised land. Everyone who you brought out in your generation, they're dead. And in fact, I'm not taking them into the promised land until I kill all of these jokers. Y'all got to die. See, those old slavery mindsets, 200 years of slavery, and this is going back to what, if you go through the genealogy, when they came into Egypt, it was Moses' great-grandfather. It was great-grandfather. It wasn't his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. So when you do the genealogy, you can see, and scholars say this isn't up for, this is well known. They weren't in Egypt for 400 years. They did not fulfill the 400 years of affliction. It said you will be afflicted 400 years. So Joshua leads them into the land. From the time they get into the land, they start slipping again, slipping. Over and over again, they slip, they don't obey, they do have things. God said to kill all of them because they all wicked. They're going to marry your children. Y'all going to be trying to mess with them. Y'all going to assimilate with them, and they're going to turn your hearts away from me. Now we're going to leave some of them alive. Okay, I told y'all don't do that, but all right, go ahead. Okay, now go here. And they're doing it over and over again, not obeying here. And every time he has to raise up a judge. Because it was a time of judges. And, you had Deborah, who has to come and deliver the people because she's talking to God. And you got Gideon, who has to come and deliver the people because he's talking to God. And he's going with the 300. And, and like God always, he'll bring somebody. Like you said, he's always going to send somebody. But over and over again, they go into captivity and over and over again. Philistines get them. Philistines had them when David rose up. Right. Philistines was running the show when David rose up. King Saul, who God had already rejected, because he wasn't listening. He's not following God's directions. And specifically, we can't. We have some grace here. He gives us some room, but we can look throughout the scriptures and see that when you continually do God, do this, okay, it's not gonna be the outcome you want. And what we're gonna talk about when we come back is the final events where God said, I'm done with these jokers. I'm gonna kill them, I'm gonna leave a remnant, but the sword is after you. We're gonna talk about the wrath of God, because if you don't understand the wrath of God, and you've been told God is so good, would a good God do this? Would a good God send people to hell? You don't understand the wrath of God and the judgment and the long suffering. And if you don't understand that, you're not gonna understand what's about to hit this earth. But we're gonna come back with that shortly.
Hello, Black America.
We've had multiple tremors on the east coast of America. We also had the deadly earthquake in Japan. Recovery is still underway there.
Hailstones up to the size of golf balls crashing down. The state has been plagued.
These fatalities have been in the Carolinas, where local officials have described the flood damage as biblical, even apocalyptic, with water levels reaching unprecedented levels.
The more they delay, the plagues are going to come on this country as well as Europe. So what's going to happen is, I have no doubt they're going to try to drag their feet. But because God is the one who is pushing this to go through, if they try to drag their feet, watch and see don't the plagues come that they've never seen before. And the only way they're going to sign these bills fast is because they want these plagues to ease up. That's what we're about to see.
The world should not pretend that the present-day economic and social conditions of Africa have nothing to do with the historical injustices that have fashioned the structures of the world. It is time to acknowledge openly that much of Europe and the United States have been built from the vast wealth harvested from the sweat, tears, blood, and horrors of the transatlantic slave trade and the centuries of colonial exploitation.
Welcome back. Hello, Black America. Curtis Cheatham, producer, here with the host, Deshaun Drummond. Fascinating discussion this afternoon, today. And before the break, you were kind of breaking down the fact that the Egyptian enslavement doesn't meet the criteria for the 400 years prophecy. So if I can be so bold as to say, so does the African American enslavement in America fulfill that 400-year prophecy? Is that what we're positing today that we want people to take away from this?
Partially. Okay. Because the people that were prophesied to go into slavery or to be scattered into the wind were not just the Israelites, it was also the Egyptians. See, because my DNA shows I'm ancient Egyptian. How did I end up here? Well, I have fathers that are Israelites as well. I have mothers, so but to answer your question, the ancient Egyptians in Ezekiel were prophesied to go into slavery. God said, I'm going to break the hand of Pharaoh and I'm going to scatter the Egyptians into the wind. Same thing he would say about the Israelites over and over again. But when he said, I'm scattering the Israelites, he would say, I'm scattering y'all and then I'm drawing my sword out after you. Run, run. You ever see Surviving the Game? Ice-T?
No.
Ice-T, they bring him to this place and he's thinking he's hanging out with a bunch of people, black and white. And they just he's off the street, but he's just getting along with jokers. Don't realize they brought him out here to play a game. And he in the woods and, they sitting out there and they said, all right, start running. Like, what you talking about? That's how God said, we coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Give you a 10-second head start.
10-second start. And I'm drawing my sword, and not just the sword, famine and pestilence. Those who will die to the sword, dead to the sword. Those who are given to the famine, to the famine. Those who are to pestilence, to pestilence. But I'm going to leave a remnant. I'm going to not utterly destroy you off the earth because of the promise I made to who? Abraham. So I have to leave the remnant. So they come into this land. Kings rise up. Solomon, so-called wisest man in the world, now has hundreds of wives, hundreds of concubines, serving their gods the way that God said that would happen if you married these strange women. And so he's building altars to their gods all through Jerusalem, all like in the high places. They're burning incense to other gods, putting their children to the fire, worshiping the sun, the zodiac, the stars, the host of heavens. Moses warned them. He said, remember, at the mountain, he said, remember this mountain, right? Y'all see that smoke? You see the fire at the top of the mountain? We'll put it up again for you so you can see the top of Mount Sinai is black to this day. Y'all see the fire. Y'all heard the voice of God, right? Remember that. Lest when you get into the land where God is taking you, you start worshiping the host of heaven, the stars. He said, remember this. And they went and did it anyway. So last straw, King Manasseh, wicked king, Hezekiah's son, saws Isaiah the prophet in half. Literally one of the worst, wickedest kings in the southern kingdom of the northern kingdom that already went into captivity, Assyria. Assyrians came in. The people you see in northern Israel right now in that land of Samaria, where the 10 northern tribes was, those are people from Assyria that came in there. And all through the scriptures, the Assyrians would come in, and when the Jews were doing good, we're Jews. We're Israelites. When they wasn't doing good, we're Persian. We're not from here. That's what they do to this day.
Code switching?
To this day. Straight up code switching.
Okay.
Code straight up.
All right.
So that's what they're known for. All the scriptures have said that. Now, they lose the southern kingdom. King of Babylon comes in. But King of Babylon says, the prophet Jeremiah told those who are left in Judah, if you go into Egypt, you're in trouble. He said, make peace with King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. And they felt like, oh man, you a sellout. You trying to get us to make peace with this enemy. He done took our land. They didn't think in Jeremiah trying to, you ain't one of us. Jeremiah was giving them the warning, if you go into Egypt, because they hide in Egypt. Egyptians is cool with Judas now. Like, you done killed all our ancestors. We know the stories. Y'all drowned us in the Red Sea.
Right.
We ain't forget. So anything y'all need, come on in. You know, come on in. We ain't got it. That's why we went into captivity, Egyptians, because we knew better. We didn't do it though. We didn't do better. We hid out with them. We was cool with them. Egypt ends up getting sieged after that point in time, and the Egyptians and the Israelites who had came in there end up going west. If you mentioned DNA, which Hoshua Mariel helped me to understand. He's the one who tied the DNA for me, the Y chromosome. If you watch the path of the Israelites, they come out of Egypt and they go west. They go west into what we now know as Cameroon, Nigeria. If you see the path of the Egyptians, they never left Africa. They came up from Kush, Ethiopia range around there before it was Ethiopia, and then they literally settled there, and then they went west. So both of these people had this meeting point and then went west. So if we do DNA tests on all of those people in the Nigerias, the Cameroons, the Ghanas, we're going to see majority have two DNA strands. One is going to be from an Israelite DNA strand, R1b. One is going to be from E1B1A, which is the Egyptian DNA strand. So not only does the scripture say that they will go into captivity, but the DNA records actually prove it. So how do we end up here? I was with a brother the other day. I was watching him. I wasn't with him. I'm watching him. He said, I don't believe in God. He's on an interview with somebody, and he's like, you don't believe in God. He believed in the devil, weirdly. He believed in the devil. Okay. But he didn't believe in God. All right. And now he said, the guy said, why don't you believe in God? He said, how can God explain the 400 years of slavery that my people have went through? How could there be a God that would allow this? It's a judgment, short judgment. See, because God chose our ancestors to be the ones who would bring righteousness to the world. We hold the mysteries of God, the oracles of God. Why do you think when you pull up on a black person on the street, most black people, even in their lowest point, what do they say? God bless you, bro. Hey, God bless you, sis. Have a blessed day, sis. Why is it that when I'm in a restaurant, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, I'm on 60th Street, I'm on the 35th floor eating dinners that cost $250 with my wife, and I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, God, how many of these people in here know you? Why are they living like this? But the people that know you, we ain't eating here. So you mean the best beaches, the best restaurants, the best views, the best materials, granite, we got Formica. We got, is that what that's called? We got Jokers got quartz in their house and marble, the best. This is the best God made.
Yeah, IKEA.
We got the IKEA. So that's so it's a great question. It's a question anyone would ask, just like that question Abraham asked. How do I know you're gonna do it? Why would God allow this? The story explains it. The history of our ancestors explains it. God said in one scripture, our ancestors were so bad, they justified the sins of every other nation around them. I want you to think and meditate on that. He said, you justified the sins of every nation around you. That means, look at your big brother. If your big brother's the example to the family, your big brother. Now, your big brother cutting class. The big brother, who's the one, he's the example. He cutting class. He's shooting. He's selling drugs. Anything I do, I'm good. Anything I do, how you gonna get mad at me? Big bro doing it. My sins are justified. My mistakes are justified. That's how every other nation around Israel got to say, y'all know God personally. Cloud by day, fire by night. Signs and wonders. We heard the stories. We know y'all. We know y'all came. We came to kill y'all. Y'all killed 185,000 Assyrian army. Ethiopian army brought 1 million people. Y'all angels killed them. We know these stories. We know y'all came into these places and conquered these places with no war. That the angel of God came in and the army of God came in and killed y'all enemies. We know Gideon went out and killed all of these people with 300 men. We know all of this stuff. Y'all wilding. What can God say to us now? So if I can't leave it like that, so I got to tax y'all. I got to tax y'all. Because if I tax y'all for a short period of time, then when I judge them, I'm justified. And now he reaches out and he says, yo, all right, I'm coming to get y'all. Return to me. Return to me. People not returning. Now, he knew they wasn't going to return because he knows the time is 400 years. But he's like, every other nation has not turned away from the gods they serve. Look at the people who serve these gods. They still serving them. Suffering or not, still serving them. Y'all had it good. Y'all passed down these things. Y'all not turning to me. Why is y'all not turning to me? Why y'all not returning? Why y'all not opening up that book to even read it to see it's about you? Why are you don't even have a basis for me being able to show you this is about you? Your whole parents, every bit of our parents said, Jesus coming back, all of this stuff. You now all of a sudden, well, okay, we're not reading. We're not, but that's the prophecy. That in the last days, in the days before the hour of temptation, there would be a falling away. That men would become lovers of themselves. It was never like this. It was done 60, 70 years ago. So all of this is leading up to the hour of temptation, the time that God will judge this land and bring out his people. So when we petition to the U.S. to repent and to try to sit down and figure out with a man or woman of God, someone who's hearing from God, what should we be doing? Because if God chastises his own people, what's coming to you? And you're written about. We don't have to wonder what's coming to America. And we didn't get a chance to go into it in this show. We got to come back.
Definitely got to circle back.
We got to circle back, but you're written about. This is not America's a bunch of Christians. They love God so much that they're so good and so powerful that God just didn't even put them in the Bible because they're all going to be raptured up in heaven.
That's a whole nother show. That's an entire whole nother show. We come to the end here.
Let me give you the floor. I know we got. Oh, yeah, hit it. And then you just tie up anything you want to tie up to say, because you're coming from the mind of the people right now. And what's on your own mind?
Thank God we're here. Thank God he's given you this message to share with the people. My prayer for the people is that they will ask God to reveal to them if what we're saying is true. We're not afraid to be wrong. We're not afraid to say that we've got something wrong if that's the case. But we've prayed about it. We've talked to God about it. And I'm inviting each and every one of you, if you have some sort of relationship with God, ask him to reveal it to you. Ask him to show you whether these things are true or not. I'm doing that personally in my life. Some of these things that are revealed to us are very difficult things to really accept. They go against everything that we've ever been taught. They go against everything that we've learned throughout our lives. But that doesn't make them less true. We have to go and seek. The Bible teaches us to seek, and we shall find. That's a promise. So I'm hoping that we will all avail ourselves to that promise. Seek the will of God. Seek the guidance of the scriptures and the Spirit. And I think you're going to be all right if you do that. Thank you for joining us today. Hello, Black America. Listen where you listen. Watch where you watch. We'll be back. Hello, Black America.
Hello, Black America.